So let's get into the trailer for the next title, which is Outliver Tribulations.
Hi everyone, I'm Mudathir Giwa, the CEO and Creative Director here at GBROSSOFT, a three-man indie studio based in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria, and we welcome you to the gameplay overview of our survival horror action game, Outliver Tribulation, where you play as Bolanle Boyega, a soldier who mysteriously finds herself in the realm of tribulations, a supernatural realm of African mythology where she soon discovers she has to undergo an ancient ritual in order to regain passage back to her realm, or so she thinks. During the course of your journey, you get to uncover the mystery behind the realm of tribulations through exploration by reading lore notes, solving quest riddles, and meeting with various characters who will help to shed more light on the ongoing events, while also facing off against ferocious and deadly enemies who relentlessly stalk you in the realm. In order to combat these threats, you will have at your disposal your skills as a player and some charms which can be found across the realm with varying effects. The lightning charm brings down lightning bolts on enemies, while the explosive charm sends out radial shockwave that stuns all enemies within range. The shield charm protects you from attacks, enabling you to take more hits than usual, while the health charm heals you. Apart from the health charm, saving your game also restores health. All of these charms can also be upgraded to get boosted effects. Aside from the charms and your conventional firearm, you will also have access to an ancient weapon known as the Elder Gun, which is also upgradable for boosted effects. The Elder Gun has two firing modes, which mimics the shotgun and rocket launcher weapon classes respectively. It also gets dark in some parts of the realm just before battle breaks out. To help with this, your character, Bola, comes equipped with night vision goggles, which you can toggle on and off anytime to see better. Outliver Tribulation will be launching on PC on the 18th of July, with the console launch coming later. After launch, we will continue to support the game by adding new languages, as well as taking into account feedbacks to help update and further improve the game, among others. Thank you all for taking the time to check out this gameplay overview. Your support would be greatly appreciated, so please help spread the word, and we hope to see you in the realm of tribulations when the game launches. Happy gaming.
Yay! Yay! Hi, hello. I'm a little nervous about this trailer because horror is not my genre. If you look at me, I know that you know in your heart of hearts, I am not the best horror game player. So I'm very excited. Please welcome Mudathir, the co-founder of GBROSSOFT, who are the developers of Outliver Tribulation. Hi.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Welcome in. It's nice to meet you too. Could you please tell everyone about yourself, where you grew up, and just anything?
Okay, so my name is Mudathir Giwa, the co-founder, creative director, and project lead at GBROSSOFT, a development studio based in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria, and of course the creator of Outliver Tribulation. So I was born and raised in Nigeria. So yeah, my story is not that exciting, I'm afraid.
I think that's exciting. What do you mean? You don't think your story is exciting? I think everyone's story is exciting. It's why we have these types of things. If you didn't have your story, you wouldn't have this game.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody else's story now. So that's why.
No, it's totally okay. So, yeah, I want to know, how did you come up with the name GBROSSOFT, like for your studio? Like, where is that inspiration? What's the story behind that?
Okay, so I guess back in the day, during our, should I say, gaming geek days, after we decided to create our studio, when we eventually come of age, because we started gaming at a very, very young age. So I think while looking into what to name our studio in the future, the name Ubisoft was very, very attractive for us back then. And because they were brothers, same thing goes for us here at GBROSSOFT. I founded this studio with my brother and even sister. There's three of us actually. So the GBROSSOFT aspect of it is, let's just say, a combination of our name. That's Giwa for our son name. That's the G aspect of the GBROSSOFT. And then the bros part
Okay.
of it is brothers, and then software. So Giwa Brothers Software, basically. So that's how we came up with
Oh,
GBROSSOFT.
oh,
That's so.
that's really nice.
Wow, what's it like to have siblings that you can create stuff with? I wouldn't know. I'm an only child. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. I'm actually
I feel
missing
it.
out on my empire. That's fine.
I actually love that. It's honestly a very interesting name, and it's a very interesting story behind the name. I love it. I think it's cute. I want to know what inspired the story and setting of Outliver Tribulation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the story and setting about Liver Tribulation, I think let's just go back to the origin of the story. So initially, we were working on a totally different game. But then, like a lot of us aspiring developers, we don't tend to take into account the scope and what it would require to pull off something with a very, very high scope, basically. So we're working on a totally different game, a survival game in a massive open world. But after a while in development, we quickly realized that we don't have the size, the technicals, and even the resources to pull off such a game. So we needed to make something on a much, much smaller scope. So during the course of, rescoping the game, as well as, taking into account the mission of our studio, which is to create a massive and captivating African-inspired, African-themed games that resonates with the global audience. We still had to keep the game's premise in the African zone. So during the course of it, we ended up with a very, very small game where, the player is haunted by demons but it wasn't based on anything in particular. I think back in February 2022, we were so close to launching the game. But then the African aspect of the game, the demons or the monsters looking more of like of African origin. So we received a lot of messages from gaming enthusiasts, both home and away. They were very excited about the African aspect of the game. So this led us and they all wanted us to work a bit more on the game and polish it even better. So this gave us the nudge that we are onto something. So we decided to drill down on the African folklore and mythology aspect of it. So this now led us to, working on the game for the African aspect of it. And then you can notice that in the game, it's a blend of survival horror and Souls-like. So for that, we are huge fans of survival horror series ever since we played the Resident Evil games back in the day. So after playing this, one problem we've had with the Resident Evil series, or let's just say survival horrors in general, is the combat aspect of it. When it comes to, especially the boss fight, it tends to be a bit easy. You can tell the bosses are extremely sluggish, almost as if they are waiting for the players to get them before they move. So we needed a way to make the combat more realistic, challenging, and skill based. So after searching around, trying to get references and trying to look into what to use as our base for the combat aspect of the game, we stumbled upon the Soul series. Yeah, the Soul series. But in the Soul series, as we can all tell, these are very, very difficult games to play. Too difficult for what we want for a survival horror game. So around that time, Remnant from Ashes came out, and being a shooter game and taking a lot of inspiration from the Dark Souls series, this immediately became the perfect fit for us to combine this to satisfy our gameplay challenge, as in the gameplay challenging, which is when it comes to boss fight. And because my definition of survival horror would be a game where the odds are overwhelmingly against you, but you still have a fighting chance. Like us humans in life, everything isn't that easy for us humans to go about our daily lives, but somehow, one way or the other, we are all able to pull through. So that is my own definition of survival horror. So for me as a human, every day is a survival horror for me, if I can pull through all the challenges I face. So that was how we ended up with the unique blend of survival horror, the Souls-like, and African mythology.
So
Okay.
that is like the backstory behind, coming up with this. I hope I have not said too much. Can I still continue?
No,
there's
no,
there's
honestly.
no such thing as saying too much about your
Mhm.
game. We don't know about it, so of course we want to know about it. It's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
honestly, you can't you can't say too much. You mentioned about African folklore, and if you're not aware, I'm also Nigerian. I was born and bred in Nigeria, Akwa Ibom
Wow.
State to be
Cool.
exact. So I'm a village
Wow.
girl.
Very nice.
And when you mentioned about folklore, it reminded me of my childhood. So we used to have it's part of folklore, but it's called Epo. So it's a man dressed in, like, it has the mask, African mask and things like that. They'll come every Sunday to our village and they'll dance and everything like that, but it's all for money. And if you do not give them money, they will chase you around the community. So all the kids will always tease the dancers and things like that. And you just see them running everywhere. The kids would just be running everywhere. And it's just something that happened every single Sunday. And it scared me because these were really tall men in these outfits and it was so scary. But it's like a very big part of my childhood that I remember still to this day. Even though I was scared of it, I loved it because it was my culture. It was my village. These were my people, So, like, I love that you said that because it really means a lot to me to share that in a game, that you took time to think about the folklore, how the demons are going to look and things like that. Like, that means a lot. And to see that in the game, it brings it home. It brings it home for me.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, so for a while we came up with the inspiration behind the story now, and the setting. So now that we've decided to make the game based on African folklore, and you know that when you look into entertainment in general, that's maybe media, movies or video games. When you talk of mythology, you mostly refer to the Norse mythology or the Greek mythology. Those are the most common. But we also know as Africans, we have a very rich cultural background, folklore and mythologies too. For me, being of the Yoruba descent in Nigeria, so it would be much easier for me to go for the African mythology Yoruba edition, the one that I can understand better. So as a result of using our own gods too, like the Oya, Shango, and the likes. So after much deliberation and research around the gods, we ended up choosing Orisha Oya because her story is very, very interesting. She's a badass. She is very strong. She is also the wife of Shango, that's god of thunder, who is like our own equivalent of the Thor or Zeus in the Norse and Greek mythology. Okay. So we ended up with that as the basis for our story. But then there is another problem. When we talk about, the mission for our studio, which is making African themed games that appeal to the global gaming audience. We could have easily just made a character in that timeline. But that character would be expected to be fully aware of the customs and traditions of that time. But this won't really appeal to gamers worldwide because they won't really know where or how to step into the story. So we needed to bring them in from a more relatable angle. So that's why you can see, and this also comes around a time where in the world there is terrorism and a lot of injustice going on in the world. So, and I know that every single one of us at some point would have said, I wish there was something I could do to put an end to this problem, to do something about it. And being a shooter game, it made a lot of sense for us to use a soldier. That is very relatable for every single one of us. So now that has solved the part of, bringing in a more relatable character that players across the world can resonate with. So the next step was how to now connect the present with the past. So that in the story, we came up with the realm of tribulations and the fictional realm of the fictional kingdom of Ilu Ahari, the kingdom in the game that sets up the entire story. So the kingdom created the realm of tribulations, which would serve as a bridge for bringing in the players from the relatable present in contact with characters and entities from the past. So that basically summarizes how the story and setting was inspired.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that.
And
Honestly,
so
I love it.
we talked a little bit about like some inspiration, because there's a trend going around on social media for like the three where you post your game and then the 3 games that inspired it. So we heard some things about Remnant Ashes and about other Souls-like games. So like, what would you say are your top 3 games that
So
inspired
I would say,
Outliver Tribulation?
so I would say, being a huge fan of the survival horror series, that's easily Resident Evil, and then the Remnant from Ashes to solve, yeah. So and then the Remnant from Ashes to solve, the combat aspect. And as you can see from the title, Outliver, this was inspired by the Outlast series, the night
I thought
vision,
so.
and so
Wow.
I
Outliver
thought
and the
so.
night vision, yeah. So
Wow.
those were the 3 games I would say.
Okay.
I
That
thought
makes
so
sense.
because because of the night vision aspect. I thought so. Like it's giving Outlast, but I love that. But listen, you'll never ever catch me playing Outlast. I'm sorry, I can't.
won't.
I can't.
It won't.
Me too.
My heart can't take it. My
I
heart
can't.
can't take it.
Yeah,
I can't play
that's
Outlast
very
to
sad.
myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
prefer
love
survival
Outlast.
horrors, where I still have a little fighting chance.
So then, I guess also really quickly, what is the part of the game that you feel like is hardest for you to complete? Like you went through it and you were like, oh, this is difficult. This is a challenge.
Okay, so I think for us in the beginning, it should be all about funding, I guess, and then the animation aspect of the game. Because you can see that in the dialogue aspect, there was a lot of moving, but we went really vast when it comes to, making realistic animations. So I would say funding was part of the main problem, and then the animation aspect. For the voice aspect of the game, in case you've not gone through the credits already, you would see that I also did part of the voicing in the game. So it was much easier. That one was simple. Yeah. So that would be like the keeper's voice in the game. That was me. So it was very simple. Just take on a simple course, but you can't really do that when it comes to animation to have something that polished. So for us, after a while, we got lucky. We applied to a lot of funding outlets, but after a while, we got very lucky and got picked for the Epic Mega Grant. So this made it possible for us to get some tools like the Perception Neuron Motion Capture Suite. We were able to solve the animation aspect, because for our game, since it's very, very heavy story and lore, animation was a very huge part of it for us. So that solved the problem for us.
That's cool.
Okay.
Motion suit actually is amazing.
I want to know actually, can you let us know what would you say has been the best part of creating Outliver Tribulation? What's your most favorite moment?
My favorite moment, I would say, is the fact that we're able to, as in the way technology has gone today and how accessible it is to everybody globally, we're able to bring, our own African story to the global audience. So being able to pull that off on that level and given the feedbacks we've received so far on Steam, people responded very favorably and even gave us suggestions that made us feel, because initially it was just, okay, 3 of us, we put in our best effort and made a game and it's out on Steam. But then people started giving us various suggestions that would also even make the game greater in the future. Like we've been able to add a difficulty mode, new achievements, localization support of recently. Someone also suggested an arena mode. So this gave us the validation. Yeah, there is actually people out there who would want to see what you have to make, as long as you pour your heart and soul in it and make something very high quality. So being able to make the game and releasing it.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. I know you mentioned about the response from the community. Is there one particular response that has impacted your view of the game, or one particular response that you've taken on board to improve the game in the future for any patch updates or anything like that?
Okay, so I would say, ever since the release of the game, the feedbacks we've received suggesting various features we never ever even dreamed of planning for the game. Part of it is the arena mode I just talked about. We are working on it for maybe our anniversary update for the game. So a lot of other suggestions. Almost everything we've done on Outliver up till date, ever since launch, is based on community feedback. So for us, these comments are very positive. So it's made us decide to continue working on the game because we never even knew we would work on the game for this long. It's been almost a year since launch and we're still working on it while we work on, newer projects, future projects. Right.
That's honestly amazing. And as we can see from the previous interview and now, community feedback is very important for devs, and it allows the relationship between player and dev to grow. And you've actually put the feedback into practice, and that's what makes a game amazing, because the players are being listened to, the players are being connected with, the players are being understood, and we love that. And us as players, we love that. So yeah. I'm so happy to hear that. I was wondering, are there any talks about porting Outliver Tribulation to maybe console like Xbox or PlayStation?
Yeah, sure. We're currently in talks with Xbox. We got accepted to the Idea at Xbox program. So that means we'll get to bring the game to Xbox later on in the future. And currently, I think I've applied to the Developer Accelerator program, still hoping for a response from them. So if we get a good response on time, we might actually be able to bring it to Xbox much sooner. And if possible, we are also thinking of the possibility of even porting it to mobile too, if possible. Because we want to be able to hit as many platforms as possible to make it available to as many people as possible. So yeah, there are definitely plans to bring it on, port it to other platforms.
I love that. I love that. And for y'all who are watching, who are console players, listen out. Keep an ear out, okay? It could be coming soon. And for me, I am a mobile player as well. I love app games. I have so many on my phone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it if it's gonna come onto mobile, because I'm gonna be on it all the time.
Yeah, you got games on your phone.
I have games on my phone.
So yeah, Mudathir, what roles do the various charms and night vision goggles play in the game? Because obviously, now that we know that some of that came from Outlast, what is the significance of those things in the game? Like, is it integral to the progression of the story? Did you just decide, okay, well, this is just fun, or what was the idea behind it?
Okay, so when making Outliver Tribulation, we wanted the combat to be as refreshing as possible. So if it was just your regular firearms, it would get boring very quickly. So we also, as a result, we invented another weapon for the game, based on the warrior's type of affinity. Like, Bola is a soldier, so she's used for firearms. So for her, the kind of ancient weapon she found when she got to the realm was something related to firearms. So the Elder Gun has two firing modes, one that drains a lot of spirit essence from Bola to deal devastating damage on the enemies, and a second mode that just does a very, very light damage. This basically simulates or mimics, rocket launcher or shotgun. But then the charms as well are on the side to further support the player. We are making a game that is African centric, but we still wanted to make sure gamers that are used to other games still feel at home playing it too. They are used to shotguns, they are used to rocket launchers. That's why we found a way to integrate it in, but in the African-centric way. So the charms as well too. You see various games where you have various gadgets that you use. You can see even in the Witcher series, there are various things like that. So for us, and when you talk about African mythology, we talk about juju and black magic and things like that. So it made sense to add in things like that to the game. So let's say the lightning charm, for instance. This brings down bolts from lightning bolt. Also to pay homage to, Shango, the god of thunder. So this brings down lightning bolts onto every single enemy in the vicinity at that time. Then you have your explosive charm, the one we use with snail shell. It's so easy to crack the snail shell when you smash it on the ground. So we decided to use the snail shell to symbolize the explosive charm. So once you smash that on the ground, it sends out a radial shock wave that stuns and even damages every enemy in the vicinity. And then there's this thing we talk about in Africa here, where you say you have, should I say Ayeta, or this juju that protects you from being shot at by every other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Africa, it's very common. So we also added the shield charm too. So once you have the shield charm activated, you are immune to every enemy attacks until the shield breaks, from damages. And then the last of the charm, that's the health charm. When you take this, you instantly heal up. Every single shooter game has a form of healing item in them. So we still try to integrate these features gamers are used to, to stay true to making our games appealing to the global audience. So we're asking you to come and experience our African mythology, but you don't have to unlearn everything you know about gaming so far just to play the game. You can still just come to Outlive Tribulation with the skills you already have. So yeah, that's the story behind it. And then for the night vision, as we already said earlier, that's like from Outlast. To also make it visually interesting, one moment you are running around in a well-lit environment, the next everything goes dark and scary. Now you need to use your night vision to change up the scenery.
Okay. Yeah. That's exciting.
I love it. This is a horror game through and through. And for all of those horror game players in the chat, I love that for you. I hope that you have the time of your life playing this, because y'all love scaring yourself. Me personally, y'all saw me playing Tales of Kenzera.
It's actually not that scary because
it's not.
It's probably
part of the feedback we got.
What's not scary?
Someone said it in the comments. The person said it's not even that scary to begin with. So like, I don't play horror games like Outlast. There is no way.
You can't say that your game.
It's like
I played the game. I've opened it up. No, you're no. I opened the game up.
Okay.
When you start the game up, you start in a fog, and then all of a sudden you start walking. You fall through the floor. Okay, so I was screaming from the moment I opened the game, and you're talking about it's not scary. Nobody's serious. Nobody's joking. We're all just having a laugh. That's okay. That's fine. Okay. All right.
Asia hates scary games, honestly. But honestly, it's a lot of fun. And listen, she had a good time regardless. I would like to know, what is your long-term vision for Outlive Tribulation? Are there any plans to expand, like DLCs, or any kind of a continuation of the Outliver title? Or you try and add more projects? Okay. Is there any projects in the pipeline?
Okay. Yeah, there are definitely plans for a sequel, because you can see the way we ended this one. We hinted at a continuation of a more epic and grander adventure. But before we go into making that, we want to take the time to have a very compelling story for that. Also improve on our skill set so we can truly make it the next level for this. Until then, we'll still be working on Outlive Tribulation and releasing updates, taking feedback from the community, and it's very likely we'll be releasing another game, before Outlive 2. We want to make sure Outlive is like our flagship IP. So before we make the next one, we want to take our time and not things. But until then, we definitely have plans, and we also plan to make it into like a universe thing, Outlive universe, where we get to use this as the step-off point to touch on many other folklore in the African mythology. So yeah, there are definitely plans for people.
Okay, I love that. Exciting. Honestly, I love it. It was very exciting. I would like to know, this is where you get to criticize yourself just a little bit. I would like to know, if you could change one thing about Outlive Tribulation, what would it be and why? It could be something for the better, it could be something for worse. It's up to you.
Okay, so let's say one of the things I have noticed ever since launch, like I said, it's a very small game from a team of 3 people, but some of the feedbacks we received, people were actually looking at it as a much, much bigger project than it is. Maybe because we use a photorealistic art style. So I'm thinking, is it a bad thing to use a photorealistic art style? Should we have gone with a stylized art style? Something that showed it off more as, a small indie game. But I'm not sure about that yet. So I can't really say there's anything I need to change or maybe just improve on it more. The quality of the game, the quality of the animations, the voice acting, the music. I would really want to improve on all of those, and maybe even add cutscenes, pre-recorded cutscenes like cinematic. This game doesn't have any of that. We try to work within our means and our expertise. I think that's one thing I would love to add into future games. A sort of intro and outro, improve everything about the game to, bring it up to the standards people thought it was supposed to be because of the high quality of the game. They were actually thinking it should be on a very high level than it's supposed to. But when some of them found out the price of the game as well as the size of the team, they were very impressed. Whoa, how did you guys pull it off? We're thinking you guys are much bigger than this. That's it.
Oh,
I love that.
Thank you for sharing. So we're gonna have our last question, which is so exciting because it's important. And then we're gonna wrap to break. But what influenced the decision to focus on a female protagonist? Because obviously we're Black girl gamers and we love supporting women and femme presenting people to increase equity in the gaming space. So it's really important for us to know just like what influenced you.
Okay, so let me quickly take you back that history journey again. So during the initial game idea we had in mind when we were making the game, before we realized, it was too big for us. Ola was also actually in that project, but she was supposed to be a companion to the main protagonist of that game. But after deciding to go for the African mythology in the Yoruba side of things, Ola was already of an African descent. She's already a Black woman, so it made a lot of sense to use her. And Bola is also a very good example to showcase how much power people can pull out of themselves, solve any problem that comes to them. Because when it comes to, the military, everything strong, you usually refer to men for such things. So Bola is like the most unexpected example. Like even a woman, when pushed to the wall, she can summon so much strength to actually pull through. So all of this combined, Bola was very perfect for the role. Giving her backstory too. Following the sudden loss of her husband and father to the terrorists, she had to do something. She wanted to be a part of the solution that finally puts an end to, terrorism, bullies, and stuff like that. So yeah, that was why Bola was the perfect choice for this.
I love that.
That's so cute.
We love it.
Period. Stand up. Women stand up.
I love that. Honestly, thank you so much. We're gonna have to wrap it up, but before we go, is there anything you want to say to the folks watching today?
Okay, so I would say it would be a very good idea for you guys to try out the game if you haven't already. I would also want to advise I would also like to advise everyone, as in part of the things I want people to take away from this story is, empathy, perseverance, and selflessness. You should try as much as you can to go out of your own way to help others if you can. You should also try to persevere in whatever it is you find yourself doing, or whatever problem you face in life, or the goals you set for yourself. Just keep working at it, because you can see in the beginning of the game there was a proverb we mentioned, one who begins a task does not deserve to be praised unless he endures and sees it through to completion. So try to persevere and see it to completion. Only then do you deserve to be praised. So I would say just be good, that's all, and support us by getting the game. So that's what I would say.
I'm not even spitting knowledge bombs out here, Mudathir. Dang.
Honestly, oh my god, I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. We had an amazing time, and it was lovely to get to know more about Outlive Tribulation and the whole process. So thank you so much. And for those who are in the chat, if you would like to play Outlive Tribulation for yourself, you can find it on Steam and Epic Games, or you can type Outlive in the chat for the information and link. Do that right now.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Danona.
Thank you for being here.